Hi everyone, it's Karen and I'm back with my beautiful journal that I started with you a few weeks ago, and I showed you how to put together one of the signatures and some of the embellishment I did inside, and now I'm back to show you the finished journal. And this is a design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy, and currently due to the Canada Post strike in Canada and tariffs, the store is temporarily closed until at least Canada Post gets back up and running, and then you'll have to check the store for delivery to the US as well because of the tariffs. But hopefully all of that is going to get sorted very soon, and you'll be able to go shopping and buy beautiful things in her shop. And also, please visit the other designers. All the links are in the description box below to all the designers who are currently creating beautiful and inspiring projects with all the lovely goodies from AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy, and also the links to the shop and to the Facebook group and Instagram are all there as well. So without further ado, let's have a look at this gorgeous journal that I have created. I'm calling her Wedding Memories just simply because of the brides that are in it and the pockets that I created that you saw in the last video. I just feel it would be a wonderful journal to put a lot of memories in from a wedding. It's not to say that if you love it, that it wouldn't also be loved by anyone, but that's what I'm calling her. And she will be available for sale. You can contact me if you are interested, and my email is always in the description box below. So along with the beautiful images that you saw me use last week on my video, I've also used all laces and trims and blings from AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. So this is the image I chose for the front, and this is how I chose to design her headpiece on here. And this is a piece of the bridal lace, and this is from a previous design team package, I believe, but I've used laces that I had that in my stash, as well as beautiful things that she has sent me just recently. This gorgeous piece on the top here is just part of a gorgeous beaded applique. This is all beautiful little white seed beads all on here, beautiful texture, and that is across the top there. This is a beautiful piece of lace from her shop. She had this in a couple of different colors, and I've put that down the side and left it hanging over the edge on purpose because I just like the look of that. This is part of another beautiful dangle trim lace that she has in the shop, and I just cut the dangle part off and used it as a topper all the way around. And then this is another one of her gorgeous laces. It makes the base of this flower, and then a second lace in the beige colors makes a second layer, and a third from the one beautiful lace, the circles. I use that as the next layer, and then one of her gorgeous blings in the center. I've used more of the bridal trim here, and then more of the beaded applique at the bottom here. And just by applying glue on the back of it and allowing it to dry on a silicone mat for a few seconds after, all the beads stayed intact, and they're just beautiful on there. This gorgeous piece on the bottom is one of she has two in the shop, one in this color and one in a more creamy color, and that's where these little circles that you see here, those are what I used to make the circle and the flower there. So beautiful piece to use in a solid piece, but also versatile to cut up. Over top that beautiful fabric that was in my design team package that just was so beautiful, went so beautifully with these pretty digitals that I had. That's on, covers the whole front and back and sides of the journal, the spine. And then overlaid here, I have used the bridal lace again with all these pretty sequins, and I've used that or down the spine. And then on the back, I've used another piece of this gorgeous lace, the same as on the front and hanging over the edge. And then a piece of the heart part of the one lace that's also on the front. Got that running here to finish this off. And then there is a dangle trim on the inside that runs along the whole bottom, and that shows, of course, through the bottom there. The top is, you'll see peeking out laces and trims and some of the beautiful clothespins and paper clips that I've made for this journal. Just gorgeous. Looks so, so pretty. A few little dangle pieces that I've added in from my stash. The cover is a soft, little bit scrunchy sound. That's the packaging from Amazon that I love to use. And the closure is those beautiful, gorgeous gold ribbon that was in my design team package. I have tied 2 pieces of it to the front and 2 to the back. So there's 4 beautiful pieces here. And then I've used an elastic bracelet of pearly beads and little gold spacers as the rest of the closure. So it's just twisted and pushed up onto these beautiful ribbons, and that's what closes, and you can see it there on the side. Isn't that so pretty? And then you can see on the side the profile here of all the goodies that are visible on the side of the journal as well. So you've seen extensively what she looks like on the outside. I just slide this little pearly bracelet right off here. It's just, you know, elastic, just twist it all together. And then I just closed it, single closure there. And then let's open her up and have a look inside. So she is a good size. I forgot to measure her. Her pages are about 6.5 wide, and she's 10 inches tall, and then she has the dangle. And the pages inside are 8 by 5. This is a huge, big, lacy pocket that I've created right here in the front. And it goes right in behind where I have folded this over with the fabric on it to make a nice clean edge. The fabric was all stitched on as well, but because of the overlay of all the lace, you don't see the stitching anymore, but it all was stitched on by machine. And then this gorgeous big lacy pocket, you can tuck lots in there. The spine is reinforced with more of the fabric. And then the top has a piece of this gorgeous lace across the top. I cut the dangles off for the top piece, and the bottom has the dangles still on. So they go all the way across the top, or across the bottom. This is the first page. Almost every page is decked out with some kind of lace and embellishment. I've left some blank, and then the envelopes are embellished as well. So this is that beautiful cotton trim that was in my design team package. These are little white roses that were also, and then these are little pieces from my stash. Lots of writing space in this journal, lots of tuck space in this journal, and lots of space for tucking things into the envelope too. I just wanted to show you at the very bottom of here, I created a little dangle, one of the bulb pins, and one of these gorgeous little mirrors that were in Kim's shop. And they had a film on them, and when you peel it off, it has the most beautiful, clear, pretty mirror on those little charms. So cute. And this is one of the digitals. There's lacy digitals in all these sort of tea colors throughout the journal. There's 2 different digitals that I used, and then the third digital is the brides that are in here as well. And so this was such a pretty page on its own, I just left it without any lace on it. This side I put a belly band on. So this is a lovely, beautiful belly band. It is paper underneath to make it nice and solid, and then overlaid with lace. Both these laces are from Kim's shop. And then I also put one of my clips on this page. And so it is right at the top here. And they are decked out big time, both sides. And this is actually one of the big, large hair clips that I did for this one. And it just clips beautifully on that page. So you could tuck things into the belly band, and you could also make them stay put by putting the clip in place as well. And of course that clip would be handy if you want to write on this page and then also clip something in here as well. You could do that. Here's the first of the envelopes. And you can see that the way that I've done the envelopes, they do stick out from the journal pages, which is what I wanted. I love the look of that, the varied. And I have added, this is beautiful fabric from Kim's shop, and laces. And then this is one of the lights, and all her headdress is all little flowers that I've cut out from different laces from Kim's shop. And then I've also put together a grouping of leaves and florals for her neckline of her dress. She has a little pearl in her ear, and she is a belly band. You'd be able to slide something in here. And then on the other side is the opening of the envelope. This is, again, all covered in the beautiful digitals. And then I've put a clip on the top of this one too to keep it closed. This one has some of those little bows on it from Kim's bow trim and other little bits. This is one of my favorite dangle trims, and I've actually used a couple pieces of that dangle trim to create the little teeny weeny little butterfly on there. There's some more of her netted trim that she has that has the embroidery on the netting. So pretty. I had a little bit of it left and I put that on there. This one is on one of the little clear, or is this a white one? Nope, this is a little white paper clip. And that keeps the envelope closed. And then if you want to open it, of course, you have these nice, every one of them is the same. They're all lined part way down in order to allow that thumb hole to be not showing white there. And this one has some of that fabric on it from Kim's shop, and then a little bit of a trim. Another one of the digitals, a blank page, beautiful, all lacy and pretty. And then on this side, decked out with some, this is a doily that I had still left over from Kim's shop, and I cut it out and used it as trim, which is a really fun way to use the doilies. And then I created a little spot up here that can be, something can be tucked underneath with a little heart from one of the trims and flowers from another. And the leaves are from another trim. And then I created a little flower, scrappy flower here with just some, a bit of one of those little fluffy kind of flowers that you can get from Kim's shop, and one of her gold leaves, and then another flower, and then a doily of my own, and then a little bling from her shop. And this again has got room here that something could tuck in here and in here, and then of course you could journal there very easily. And this is the back of the next envelope. And on this one, I created a little tuck spot here with just some of the lace and some of the bridal trim, and some of the bridal trim here too. And then this is one of the bridal trims from her shop that didn't have any beading or anything on it. And this one I took and beaded myself. I'm just going to go in a little bit so you can see here what I've done. I love doing this. It's definitely a labor of love. It takes time, but it's a wonderful project to do, sit in front of the TV watching a movie with my hubby. And so I've taken little tiny pearly beads and little tiny 11-0 seed beads, and I have hand stitched them all over this piece of lace. And then I applied it to the side of, I'm going to zoom back out. Applied it to the side of the page there. It's very decorative, hangs out the side, like little tuck spot here. And then on this side is another one of the brides. This one, this is her headpiece that I did, all with lace. This is lace from Kim's shop, and then these are part of that lace, the other flowers, and then I've added little sequins and beads into the center of each of these flowers. You can see them sparkle a little bit more there when I zoom in. And then I did some netting at her neckline, and I did a little row of kind of a taupey colored pearly beads that I had in my stash. This is another piece here from her. This is the bridal lace that has the sequins on it, and I added a little bling of my own there. little bow trim down the side here. And again, this envelope opens up. This one I have tucked, I used the little gold corners on some of them, just in some of the places. And I added a few of them in here for whoever purchases this journal, because they're really fun to use to add pictures in, because they stick down and then you can slide your pictures into those gorgeous gold corners. And so I thought I would add a few extras in there for whoever gets this. This is also a side tuck. And this side has the gorgeous bit of that trim, and it has the hearts on it. That's just a piece of it. You just cut the hearts off. This is another trim that was in my design team package, a beautiful creamy colored gross grain ribbon with the overlay of the ruffled netting, and then the pearls are riveted on. And then I added these pretty white rosebuds that were also from Kim's shop. I added those on as well. Layering, layering, layering. I love, love layering everything up. This is another piece that is attached to the envelope. And this is a collage that I've done, and it's done on backing of cardstock, and then the fabric is put on top, and then I collaged with her gold leaves. This is her netting lace. You can see it here, and these are the little flowers. And what else have I put on here? Some of my own little acrylics, and down at the bottom, some of the this is an applique that she sent me, one of those beautiful appliques, and I've just cut the flowers out and used those. I've added some little of my flat back pearls to the center of those. And then I've done a little bit more of a collage on this side with the leaves and more of those flowers from the applique. And this can be a tuck spot. This is actually, the flap on the envelope. And of course, you know, again, you have that beautiful big pocket envelope to use to put all your goodies in. And again, another little paper clip to close it. This one is one of the little acrylic ones in there, and it has all kinds of little bits from Kim's shop. Little bow is from my stash, and the little dangle is from my stash. And I just clip that up there at the top, right there, to keep that one closed. And then on this side, you can see the other side of that cute little paper or clothespin. And this side has the gorgeous beige trim that I love so much, the lace, the flat lace. And I had a little piece of this lace left from last month, and so I clipped that on there with a little pin and some beads and a little rhinestoney heart. And this is another one of the brides. And this one, this is how I did her headdress. She has beautiful pearls all set into the top of it here, and florals trailing down, and then the neck of her dress is done in florals, and then a beaded necklace on there and some more tulle for her neckline. And she is a tuck spot as well. This side is plain, as is that one. And this one is another envelope, flips open like that. You have your nice big pocket, of course, and the overlay on the edge of the flap is her cotton lace again. Beautiful, beautiful lace. I've left it sort of hanging out on each end and added in some little acrylic pieces and buttons from my stash. And then here I have underlaying there, you can see the sparkle. That's that fabric with all the sequins on it, overlaid with some of the cream lace and some of the taupe one, some of the circles, some of the leaves and the heart, and then a little bow right there. And that's a little tuck spot. Other side is another bride, and she has a gorgeous floral piece on her head. And I'm just going to zoom in because maybe you can see it better. I have made it, you can see it there. So I've created like one of those little caps that brides sometimes wear, and then it comes down over her face a bit as a bit of a veil. First I used this lace from Kim's shop, and I created the petals like petals of a flower. Then I added in this piece of tulle to be like the netting that comes down and covers a little bit over her face. And then I added a piece of the bridal trim, a string of little 11-0 sparkly seed beads, and a little flat back pearl in the center. And that created her headpiece. Had a lot of fun making that one. Her neckline is a piece of the bridal trim, and I've used the little gold corners on this one. Oh, and you can see that one. See how they just slide right in there? And she has another trim here on the edge of the page here, one of Kim's pretty trims. And she is a belly band, so she can have things slid underneath her. On this page, I created a lace pocket. And so it's this gorgeous cream colored lace, and then 2 more of those, and a little bit of the dangle trim. And this is the dangle part of the trim that goes along with this one that's on the top here. That's the part I cut off, and then I use some of it here. So that creates a really nice big pocket. Then on this side, this is the end of the first signature. And again, I've trimmed out the page with the beautiful hearts from this same trim, and then used a full piece of this in the corner to create a tuck spot. And because I want you to be able to write in this journal, I have created a writing board. So it's beautifully finished, nice heavyweight cardstock, and it's one of the larger images in these digitals, and I've covered the whole thing. And I've set it right here in the center of, you can see the fabric there that reinforces the spine, and I've set it right in here. So you can move this anywhere you wanted within the journal right here, and you'd have a nice solid place to write if you want to write anything on the pages, because they are bumpy because they're covered in all these gorgeous laces. So this is the start of the second signature, and I've just again added some of the doily on the edge here as a trim, and then some of that beautiful pieces of that lace. And again, those always create a bit of a tuck spot if you wanted to use that, but wanted to leave most of the digital page open because it's so pretty. This is the signature that we created together. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this signature because I have shown a lot of this before. I'll show you the pieces that I know you haven't seen. And if you want to see any more of it, you can go back to the video that's posted just before this one where I created this actual signature with you. So this is that page I went over. This is all collaged and done, and it is a side pocket. And then this is again one of the gorgeous little clothespins. And this one we did, well, I did it and I talked through it how I had done it and finished it. So that's in that video. And the same with this side we finished off. And I think I added this piece of bling afterwards. I just wanted another pretty on there. I believe that's from Kim's shop. I just had it in my stash. Blank page. Upper tuck spot. I think we talked about it when I was going through the journal. I talked about that I was going to put this piece of lace on there. Then I added this little piece and then some little bits from my stash. This one we did together. And there's the paper clip, and that's it all finished and in the book. And it is also a belly band. And then the back side, I think this I did afterwards. I just added on collaged on some bits of laces and florals and added some flat back pearls to the back part of the flap on that envelope. Added another little mirror in there. They're so pretty. This is a little tuck spot I created on this side of the page. This is just the fabric, so it's a very soft tuck spot. It's all collaged pieces of lace from Kim's shop, and then this beautiful piece at the bottom. And this little piece comes with 2 little florals, 2 little rosebuds with the gold ribbon, but I took the one rosebud off because I wanted to keep this journal, as I mentioned in my last video, very neutral, and so it was more of a pinkier color, and so I took it off and just put the one back on, and then in behind it I added this little piece of doily. And this trim here is also from Kim's shop, this one here. And then this is the center of that signature, and it's just gorgeous, gorgeous. I just love how these pages turned out. So, so pretty, this digital. So I left that just like that. And then this is a beautiful piece from Kim's shop, and I just put it down the side here. I didn't want to do anything else with it because it is a gorgeous piece. And make a lovely tuck spot there. This is the back side of one of the other envelopes, and again a collage of different laces from her shop, and added on some beads, again doing some little bit of beading. And then I did another on the flap of the envelope. I've done another collage here to kind of similar to the one in the first signature. This one's a little bit different, but the beading is all done again. There's a clip on the top here, and that closes the envelope, and this goes all the way up to the top. There's a little dangle piece there too. I love these pieces because they stick out the top of the book, and I purposely made the cover a bit bigger than the actual journal pages so that there was room for these to stick out but not be sort of getting caught on anything. This is another one of the brides, and this is how I finished off her head piece. These are each individual little flowers from Kim's shop, but I pieced 3 together to make a whole different type of flower. And then I added the beautiful flat lace in the background, and then some of these little bits from another trim. You never throw anything away, because you know, you cut these bits off and these ones, and then all of a sudden they just perfectly fit together to add to this. And this is the top of her dress, which is the top of one of the floral laces that I got from Kim's shop. And she is a tuck spot. On the top, this page is a pretty piece of the lace and an overlay of the taupe lace on top. And you can see peeking out the next envelope. There's the back side of this beautiful digital. And then here's another envelope, and you can see the top of the next page. That is a clip that's on there. So this has a bit of a little tuck spot here, all bits collaged together. There's probably about 4 or 5 different pieces of Kim's trim all put in there, cut and collaged together to create, and it's all put on that fat piece of that fabric, and then there for a tuck spot. And then there's the beautiful envelope, which I collaged down the side with different florals and that gorgeous netted trim that she has with the sequins and the flowers on it. I did cut out some of the little hearts from that trim, and they're added on there. This is a pretty clip that's been put on here, again, to hold this gorgeous envelope closed. You can see they're nice and big inside. Beautiful, beautiful. And this one, I've made an extension on it. I sometimes do that. I just think it looks really pretty. It's like putting a dangle onto a clip. This is, again, one of the big hair clips. And so they're quite dramatic when they get finished because they're already long, and then I added this extension onto it. But I really wanted to pull the taupe colors all through and add them on. Another little one of those weeny little butterflies. And then on the other side is, I just put my hand in there because you can see it better. This is pieces of Kim's lace, the florals. This is another piece. This was made up that head piece on the other page. That's a similar lace. Little bits of dangle here, and then one of the little bows at the top. There's lots of detail, lots to look at. If you get this journal, you'll be going through and looking at it many times to actually see all the little details. Here's the back side. This is the final bride in the book, and I used that beautiful lace that I had in the cream and the taupes. Those are the leaves. These are the florals. And then I added in the smaller little white flowers from another one of her laces. I cut them out, and then I sewed the tiny little sequins. I just sewed those into the center of each of those flowers because I liked the sparkle that it gave to her headpiece. And so again, little things that are a real labor of love, but I really enjoyed doing that. Sewed them on first, and then I glued the flowers down onto the headpiece. And then her collar is a piece of the lace, and then a little bow I attached here. Another one of Kim's beautiful laces down the side. A little piece of it here as well. And there's the back of that clip. And again, I used a couple of the gold corners here. There is the final little clip in the book. It's actually a paper clip one. And so it's a hidden paper clip. And this is another, I've used a little bit of the gold ribbon and I retied it into a little bit of a bow and then added one of the little white rosettes. So those are those little ones. I don't have any more to show you, but they were the gold ribbon with the rosettes. They're really easy to pull apart and you can reconfigure them to whatever you like as well. All little pieces of laces from her shop. I think the little bow is my own. That's that gorgeous dangle trim. I love putting the dangles on these clips as well because they hang out the top or the bottom of your clip. And then this is a piece of the fabric there with some netting and some of that, one of the gorgeous appliques on there and some lace. So super pretty. They look so pretty on a page too. And they're versatile because this page can then, you can not only use it to write on, but you can clip something on it as well. Then we have that pretty trim again with the gross grain ribbon and the netting and the pearls, and then I added in the little hearts from the trim and one of the flowers. And that's just the back of the paper clip, some of the gorgeous digitals, another piece of that lace trim that's also across the top here. I put that down the side of the page. And then the back, this is just plain, and the back has got another deep pocket just like in the front. So that would store a lot of goodies. The beautiful trim on the bottom, and then I've just added a little ribbon here and a bow that says Handmade. And that is this gorgeous, yummy journal that I have created as a design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. I hope that you will join the Facebook group and Instagram and watch for posts to say that the shop has been reopened. And I hope you'll go shopping as soon as it has reopened and get yourself some goodies because there's so many fun things to play with in her shop. And you can create something like this yourself. And I just think that pearly bracelet on there looks so pretty because I can just imagine, a bride wearing something similar to that. Probably not maybe as like elastic one, but maybe a real pearl one or one that's been handed down in the family. So it's just kind of reminds me of that. I hope you enjoyed looking through this journal with me. Like I said, she is for sale. If you're interested, you can contact me by my email. Will be in the description box below. I know that she's going to bring a lot of joy to someone. And I will talk to you all soon. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. And I'll be back soon with another video and more inspiration. Bye for now.